So as I said, we've got a lot to talk about from this video that I wanted to get into individually. The next thing I want to talk about is another aspect of the dupe system. If you want to see me react to the whole video, I'll card to that up here, and then a little bit later, I'll card to a discussion about the empowerment system that we had yesterday. If you want to check that out as well, that'll pop up a little bit later in the video. Also, if you haven't checked out the one where I went over the whole video, I think that was a pretty fun video. I would say it's worth checking out. But anyway, I want to talk about this part now, the life token system. This is one that conceptually I was pretty into when they announced it. I thought this was a cool idea. Gives you the option to choose. Gives you the. I like the dupe system in the sense that we have options, right? I like the dupe system in the fact that most of it's effective. I understand the concerns. Again, we talk about the empowerment system yesterday in that video that'll pop up. I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but I want to talk about this life token system because the big concern here was, yeah, the system's cool, but the price is going to be sky high. My guess was 3 legendaries for another legendary and 5 for a void. That was where my guess kind of rested. I thought that seemed to be the most reasonable way to go about doing this, and they disagreed apparently. So it is. I don't know why Manaya is only 5. I'm not sure what that's about, but you get 500 life tokens when you cash in a legendary, right? You get 500 tokens when you cash in a void legendary also, which seems absurd to me because clearly there's a discrepancy in the value they assign to the void legendaries. Clearly, they're worth more. It's weird that they're only worth 2 more than a regular one, but it's still, they've made it clear that void legendaries are worth more. So the idea that you don't get more points for trading in a void legendary seems really problematic. I'm getting real GameStop-y vibes from this whole thing. You know what I mean? I think that's problematic. And then I think the cost of all of this is just, I think it's unreasonable. I think it's insulting. I think the list is insulting. Not that these aren't good champs, but I think the fact that Foley and Molly and Sir Nick have all been fusions at one point or another in this game, and they comprise half the list. And it's like rather than do a follow-up and give you an opportunity to finish a fusion or some other method of obtaining fusions you may have missed in the past, whether you started playing too late or you just missed them for whatever reason. Maybe back in the day when fusions were just unreasonable completely, and you couldn't do them unless you were spending money and on the game constantly. Maybe you just couldn't finish them, but for whatever reason. But the fact that they're here for 6 other legendaries just really is not good. That's not a good look, man. I am willing to have a discussion that Void Legendary can be worth 8 other legendaries. It's going to be tough to convince me. Unless it's a Sifi or something. We're talking about 8 duplicate legendaries. 8 of them. Again, my main account, which has a lot of money spent on it, I think I'm probably sitting around 40 dupes total at this point. My free-to-play account, I believe, has 2. And I've been playing it for about a year. I think we're closing in on a year worth of free-to-succeed episodes on the free-to-play. And I have a dupe Pixneal and I have a dupe Mountain King. And I think those are the only dupes I have right now. I've been fairly lucky on the account. You're talking years. You're talking years for a free-to-play player to be able to cash in dupes. Maybe if someone's luck has been worse, or even now, like what is worse and better now? Now it's almost like if you're trying to get a void, like if it's a Sifi here, you're kind of hoping for dupes, I would imagine, right? So it's like which way does the luck even go? But I think 8's too many. I think 3 was reasonable for a regular legendary. I think 5 or 6 would have been reasonable for a Void Legendary. I think anything beyond those numbers and you're starting to push it. I also just don't understand what the point is here. I don't know why she's 25 and the others are not. I don't get that. I'm not sure what that's about. Chosen also brought up an interesting thought on this. We did a video together. A bunch of us got together and did a video that will probably go up on his channel and perhaps Darth's channel as well sometime soon. So be on the lookout for those because that was a fun time. Chosen brought up a good point that why not have epics and rares in here too? Like if you want to trade in a Void Legendary and get 500, why don't they make Apothecary available? Why don't they make Maneater available? Or just other voids and epics? I don't know why this has to be all exclusive to legendaries. Even if you can't feed in epics and rares to get life tokens, which why not? But even if you can't do that, even if the only way to get them is legendaries, they could still let you obtain other champs and just have some left over, right? Obviously not as expensive as these guys, but you know, it seemed like a reasonable thought. So I don't know. I don't think I've heard anyone say yet that they think the prices here are reasonable. Which to a degree I reckon is to be expected. I'm sure even if it was 3 for a regular legendary, you'd still have a lot of people saying like that's too many. Which, you know, again, there's conversations to be had about all that. I think 3 would be fine. I think 3 would be a reasonable. 3 dupes for a Tomb Lord so that I could build him if I had the gear to do the solo dragon thing. Like, again, like my free to play is about a year old and I've got 2 dupes, so I couldn't even do it yet. But now I'm only a third of the way to any of these champs that I might want that I don't have. So, and then, you know, even worse for the Void Legendary. So, I don't know, man. This is tough. I think this is the worst part of the dupe system for me. I'm not as afraid of what the empowerment system is going to do, as a lot of the community seems to be. I just don't think it's going to be as widespread of a problem as it seems like it's going to be. I think this is aggravating. I'm not even opposed to things being long-term grinds and all of that. I just think that the conversion here is insulting. I think six duplicate legendaries for another legendary is unreasonable. And I think the fact that void legendaries don't net you more tokens when you cash them in is unreasonable, dude. I just don't understand the logic behind that. I am interested to know where you guys are at with this one too. How are you feeling about the cost? How are you feeling about what you get for what you give? Do you have any thoughts on void legendaries not being the same or being the same cost as other legendaries? Would you like to see the champ pool here expanded? I'm wondering how often it's going to rotate, because that's another thing too that could be tough about it. Like, you're at the mercy of how often you pull dupes. So if you're trying to save up for a Sir Nick and you're at 7 dupes and it rotates before you can, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way to intentionally do this. That's a big problem I have with it. There's no way to intentionally do this. You are 100% at the mercy of RNG. It doesn't matter what your gear's like. It doesn't matter what champs you have. It doesn't matter how smart you are strategically and what you're able to accomplish in the game. This is 100% RNG. That's a big problem I have with that. I don't like that. This is not a place in the game where I feel like that's welcome. Sometimes I like RNG like that. I like it even with summons, there's a pity system. You're eventually going to get something, you know what I mean? But whether or not it's a dupe, you have no control over. You have no control over this. This is 100% RNG. I'm not in love with that. So I think the prices are too high. I don't like the mechanics of it. You know, if the prices were lower, maybe it wouldn't matter that it's 100% RNG, but it's just too much. I think it's just a little bit too much. So maybe in time, maybe they'll hear us, and in time they'll work to balance it a little bit. Maybe like for the second rotation, they'll adjust the prices, or perhaps adjust the amount that you get when you trade in one direction or another. I would like to see this improved. I don't hate the system conceptually. I just think this is probably the worst implementation of the video. Like, of everything we got told was coming in the video and like how things are being implemented. I think this is the worst thing. I think this is worse than empowerment. I think this is worse than anything. I think this is the worst part of everything we're about to get. So, yeah, I want to know if you guys feel similarly or if you disagree with me completely, or if you fall somewhere in between. I'm interested. I'm interested to know what you guys think about this. And that's it. We'll wrap this one up here. Appreciate y'all. See you later.